Hello, welcome back. It's been a hot minute and I now have curtain bangs. I haven't done a vlog in such a long time, and today's one is me sitting on my bedroom floor because that is where the best lighting is. And for those that follow me on Instagram, I have been talking about jumping on here and giving everyone a bit of a real and raw post-show update. What has been going on with me? What has been going on with my health? Why have I not been so active on social media? Why I haven't been active on YouTube? Why I haven't been pushing out podcast episodes that I recently just launched the potty only a few months ago, and it's killed me. It really has killed me, but I just haven't been in the right state physically or mentally to be pushing and doing that extra work with content behind the scenes. A lot of my available energy that I've had over the last few months has just been going into my business, my clients, posing clients, and it has definitely taken up a lot of my time, but it's taken a stab of my identity, what I've been going through, and which it sucks because I visualize myself as this very strong-willed, confident, sure of herself, hardworking individual, and it has been near impossible for me to be able to show up as that person that I perceive myself as these last few months. And I finally am starting to find my feet again within myself and my health, in being able to step back into her and film this video. And as you guys know, I love sharing my own experiences, not for any sort of sympathy or anything like that. I deal with my own shit, but more as a way to potentially help other people that may be experiencing the same thing, especially with the sport of bodybuilding. We know post-show can be quite difficult and hard and different for everyone as well. Everyone kind of faces their own struggles, and this post-show definitely has felt a lot different to what my first one did 2 years ago. I knew that later down, coming out of this post-show, I was probably going to be facing some hard times purely because of how fucking shredded I got. I remember nearing the end of last season, my body's gonna need some time to recover from this. I remember how fucked I had felt and how far I had physically pushed my body. And I see this as a blessing and a curse, that I can just keep going. I can keep pushing. It's my greatest quality as an athlete, but also my greatest link. Sorry, my weakest link, not my greatest link. My greatest quality, my weakest link, that no matter how I feel, no matter what adaptations my body is experiencing from being severely lean or hungry, I just keep going. There's this fucking crazy wild dog inside of me when especially I'm pushing in a contest prep, that it doesn't matter. The reason why it's my weakest link is, like, for example, I remember Scott saying to me during that prep, he's like, you ever having any moments where you're getting to the point where you don't feel like you can physically pull yourself up off the couch, make sure you let me know. And I just embrace the suck. I find it hard to vocalize that I am struggling. I'm just like, are you dead? You can still move. Like, your mind is stronger than your body. So I feel like that is my weakest link, because not vocalizing it can end you up not maybe so great later down the track. But that's something I'm working on. But again, it's also my greatest asset, that if there's a job, a task at hand that needs to be done, you guarantee it's going to be done, and it's going to take a fucking lot to break me. But even right now, with what I've been experiencing, I've thought I'd have moments where it would break me. I've had a few dark days, but I'm still here. I'm getting back up, and I'm getting my shit sorted, because one thing I've always say to myself, and I say it to myself out loud in the car, I'll never let you fail. I won't. I've got your back. Like, you can't physically fail when the soul of Amanda is inside your body. Like, you can't. It's just not in our fucking DNA. But anyway, enough of that. Pretty much, let's start back when comp finished. I was feeling really good coming out the first 6 weeks of it. As you do, you start increasing your food again, and you realize, oh, this is what it feels like to have more food in the body. And I was like, all right, cool, feeling great, good intentions. You know, we're putting back in a few compound lifts, deadlifts, squats, feeling awesome. This is fucking sick. Then first came the neck injury. I think Scott maybe overestimated maybe how much my body is capable of, but I'm quite a brittle individual. Like, I've had so many injuries over the years, and look, purely because my genetics, not talking about aesthetically, but my genetics in regards to like my joints and stuff, God did not think of me. I am like double jointed in like all my joints. I have hip dysplasia, my shoulders go in funky directions, and because of this, I'm so prone to injuries. So I've had so many over like almost my 10 years of training. And the neck has always been a bit of a dicky one. But anyway, coming back into training and, you know, pushing heavy loads. And look, it is me. I get really excited with training, and I start fucking getting ahead of myself. I'm like, yeah, let's load up the weight. And before I know it, I've probably just been going too hard too soon. My neck started getting a bit dicky, and honestly, I just tried to ignore it. Another really shit thing about me as a person, I will wait and just ignore things until they get so bad. I'm like, okay, I should probably address it, which is not what I preach to my clients. I'm always like, oh, you're feeling something, you're feeling niggle, let's get on top of that straight away before it gets worse. No, I hate going to the fucking doctors, which, as you can imagine, I've been to the doctors more than I think I've ever been in the last 2 years in the space of 1 month. I fucking hate going to the doctors. Like I said, my worst trait, I don't complain. I'm just like, nah, you're fine, you're moving, you're mobile, you're good. Anyway, over the course of a few months, getting back into heavier training and stuff, I was like, oh fuck, my neck is getting a bit shit. One day I was pushing a really hard set on Bulgarian Smith machine, split squats. And Paul was literally watching me as I was doing it. And I was like, oh, I reckon it was like 1 RAR, if not failure. And the last rep, I was like screaming. It was so slow as I was pushing it up. Just as I go to finish that final rep, I feel this fucking crazy sensation run up through my neck. I was like the best way to describe it is, imagine, you know, when you turn your head really quickly and it's like you get that like really like cramp that makes you go kind of go, whoa. It's kind of like that, but it felt like a rush right behind my whole entire head. I've never experienced anything like it. And I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck was that? And Paul was like, are you okay? And I like laid down. I was literally like, what the fuck was that? Like, and it took that to happen. I was like, okay, I need to get this sorted. I need to address this, and I need to go to the physio. Went to the physio. Turns out it's called, I hate this saying it, neurologic, fuck. It's a big word. It's a nerve. It runs up through the neck into the back of your head, and it was fucking spasming, and it was causing lots of issues. It just wasn't getting better. Like, I'd, you know, dropped the training back and things like that, and training had felt shit for a whole entire month because pretty much I wasn't allowed to push close to failure or to failure at all, because doing that, that's when I'd tense up, and that's where I'm most likely to get that spasm. I remember after having that first spasm, like that first wave or whatever it was going up through my back of my fucking head, my fucking training, like trying to even just do a set of barbell back squats with just the fucking bar, or even a Romanian deadlift with just the 20 kilo bar, it was fucked. I felt like it was going to go again for like 2 whole weeks. Fucking sucked. Training just felt shit. I just felt like I was showing up. Even just that there mentally took a stab of my identity. Who am I if I can't go into the gym and scream like a fucking animal? Identity, it's gone. Gradually got past that, kept seeing the physio. It's been heaps better now. It's definitely had its moments, but To put it in perspective, like with this neck condition, the physio said, he's like, oh, do you feel like you almost feel a bit off, like you struggle to put words together? I was like, yeah. I was like, it's really affecting like my cognitive function. Like it made me feel so off. It would give me the most incredible migraines I've ever had in my life, where I'd be in bed for like almost half a day. And it was so bad because a lot of the times, especially when I'd have check-in week with my girls, where I'm, fucking on my laptop pretty much all day, sitting down, they were some dark days. I can't tell you how fucking hard it was to have to do this job that feels like second nature, to have it feel like it was the hardest thing ever. Never once in my life have I tried to record a check-in loom 4 times. Like, I mean, I'd go to say it and I couldn't string fucking proper sentences together, that I had to shut my laptop and I just bawl my eyes out. I'm like, I feel like I can't even do my fucking job properly. I was like, what the fuck is this? I even had some days, and this is when I knew it was getting really bad. So with this, especially if the nerve, it gets really inflamed. I didn't realize this at the time until I kind of researched more into it. I remember looking up, I had my head down, I looked back at my laptop and I was like, oh, why is my laptop blurry? And I looked around and I was like, oh my God, it's not my laptop. I can't, like my vision, I felt like a blind person. Like my vision was actually blurry. I was like wigging the fuck out. I was like, oh my God, am I going blind? I called Paul. I was like, I can't see properly. So that was just all a bit of a shit show. So the neck, we were dealing with that. I was like, fucking hell. And then on top of that, dealing with that neck injury, I was starting to experience a lot of other issues and concerns. I was feeling so fucking like physically fatigued and tired. And I felt tired. I fucking did a contest prep. Like I know what fatigue feels like. I know how to show up when I'm just tired and still get the job done. But I'm talking, this was like excessive fatigue where I'm like, a fatigue that I couldn't fight. I would end up having to go and lay down, and I was sleeping like every single day. Going to my hair appointments, we noticed my hair was thinning out, and I'd touch my hair and hair was just coming out. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Finding myself fucking depressed, like really fucking depressed. I felt like I couldn't even do my job properly. I couldn't train hard. I was constantly in pain. I was just having a really shit fucking time. Not even wanting to see anyone. Driving to work, I'd feel like I was gonna fall asleep on the fucking wheel. I couldn't keep my eyes open. This is just like during the day. This was like a regular occurrence. And then one of my clients, she had experienced similar things. She's like, oh, are you sure you're not anemic? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, why did this not click? Because Paul, after his prep, he became anemic and he was experiencing all these different things. Like he was like super tired. He like libido shot. You're so tired, like you just don't even want sex. My libido was shot, and it still is quite shot. I am no way near like a fully functioning human. And when I was telling police, like, oh my God, he's like, you're literally going through everything I did. And for him, it started happening around the 8 to 10 weeks out. And this is when I started experiencing all these things too. On top of that, like still not having my period. I still don't have my period, by the way. It has been 7 months. Probably just, yeah, even more, I haven't had my period. Where last prep, shit, I got back up to 62 kilos. My period came back. This prep, fuck, I'm back up at 65, 66, my period's still not here. So it's, the anemia is probably impacting that too. So I was like, all right, go get a blood test, just to obviously ensure that this is what's going on. And yeah, I was fucking anemic. I was like, okay, cool. I felt clarity. I was like, all right, this is a first step. I know what's going on now. I know why I feel like this. And for me, prior to realizing that this is actually what's going on, I was feeling like a failure because I couldn't even have enough energy to want to go and do my fucking steps. All I wanted to do was lay in bed. felt awful. That is just not who I am. And I physically was struggling to fight it. And every week, I was just fucking feeling sorry for myself, trying to pull myself fucking out of that. It was just really, really frustrating. It just made it so hard, even just trying to show up the way I know I want to show up for my business as a coach. I was like, I just wasn't feeling myself. Stab of my identity. They put me on iron supplements. For one, I remember when Paul was anemic, he did the iron supplements. It took him 3 months to start feeling normal. I didn't have fucking 3 months to keep feeling the way I'm feeling, where I'm struggling to fucking do X, Y, and Z. Doing all my clients, the check-ins, posing, and then the thought of trying to make content, forget it. Like, all I want to do was fucking nap. That's it. And I was like, no, fuck this. Like, I'm gonna go push for an infusion. So I got the infusion. I actually got it last week on Tuesday. I'm so hesitant in giving you infusions. Like, I get it. Like, there's, risk or whatever involved. But I was like, guys, I need to start feeling better now. Like, for someone like me, for the expectations that I have of myself and for how much, like, I expect to get done to get myself ahead of where I want to be, I couldn't continue my life like this. This was not it. Like, everything was just becoming very difficult. I got the iron infusion, which was all fine, got that. And then a couple of days later, which was Friday last week, was it Friday last week? So yeah, Thursday night at 11 p.m, I said to Paul, I was like, babe, can you turn the aircon off? Like, I'm fucking freezing. Turns it off, and I was like, babe, I'm still so fucking cold. He's like, it's 30 degrees. I was like, and I was fucking shivering. Like, I had a really bad fever. So it's 11 p.m. and I break it up, fucking shivering, like freezing so bad. My whole body hurts. My head hurts. It's like really bad. I've had to imagine it's 30 degrees. And I'm just shivering. So fucking cold, cunt. Which was kind of scary. Now, when you have an infusion, they say, you might feel a bit feverish, or, you can get a little bit nauseous or whatever like that. But they always say it's mild. Like, yeah. Anyway, I was fucking freezing. I got insane. Like, I was feeling nauseous. And then my whole body was just aching like crazy. And it was kind of freaky because I was like, and I had no cold or flu symptoms, like no congestion or anything. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, is this like from the infusion? Anyway, I took some Panadol to try and, get rid of the fever, and fell back asleep. And then I woke back up on Friday morning, felt like asshole. Like, I was just, the fever and stuff just kept getting hot and cold flushes. And I was like, oh, maybe it'll be okay. And then I think around 12 onwards, things just took a massive turn, and it was getting pretty scary. So I started like burning up. Like, I felt like my body was on fire. Like, it was super hot. I was like falling asleep in and out, and like I did not look well, and I didn't even realize I was falling in and out of sleep. My eyes just felt like they kept rolling to the back of my head. And I remember just being on the couch, and Paul's like, Amanda, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, my whole body, I was literally like delusional. I was just not well. And yeah, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, it was incredible what I was feeling. Like, it was just crazy. I felt so nauseous. And anyway, so Paul's like, fuck it, we're going to the doctors. We're going to get bloods done and whatever. And even just getting me in the car, like, it was so hard. And one moment I would be burning, feeling like it was like 40 degrees, and the next minute freezing. Like, it was just fucking wild. I've never experienced a fever like it. And I think it was just my body, obviously, the iron, like, I just had a really severe, rare reaction to it. Anyway, got to the doctors. He's like, this is like, it's quite a rare reaction. Like, you know, people might feel a bit nauseous, whatever. He's like, he was really concerned. They test me for like every flu under the sun. I was like, I definitely don't have a flu. Like, I can tell you there's like no congestion or anything. Like, I was just like, I'm just feeling X, Y, and Z. And he's like, oh, like, I'll test you, you know, it could be this as well. He's like, I just want to, you know, look over everything. And he's like, I feel like your phosphate levels might be a bit low and that's what could be happening. Anyway, I did the blood test. Mind you, fucking bruised hectic. I don't know if you can see that. That's like bruised pretty bad. I'm such a bleeder, by the way. Like with my blood test, every time I get a blood test, I'm pissing out blood. Always have, don't know why. And I fucking hate blood, hate needles, hate all of that. Ugh. Anyway, get the blood test, negative to all flu symptoms. I knew that was going to be the case. And turns out my phosphate levels were like low. You just mentioned to like, obviously like, you know, get some calcium in X, Y, and Z, which I'm working on. But that whole experience probably lasted about 36 hours. And then the last 3 nights with that, woke up in a pool of sweat. Fucking disgusting. Ugh, hated it. So my body was just like going through a weird experience trying to process this iron. I don't know, I'm not a fucking doctor, but it was quite scary for someone who's never heard of anyone experience it. Like I've got friends that have had iron infusions and everyone's like, what the fuck? No, like that did not happen to me. So yeah, it was kind of scary just purely because like I had no control over what my body was doing and I didn't know what was going on. I was like, fuck's sake, I'm trying to just get this infusion, get myself feeling good again. And this is what fucking happens. Anyway, we are a couple of days post that. It is Monday now. And I don't have a fever anymore, which is great. I didn't wake up in a pool of sweat this morning, which was great. I'm feeling better. I am still quite tired, but they did say it can take 2 weeks until the infusion actually starts, like the iron starts to get absorbed by your body and you can actually start to feel like you're bouncing off the walls again. So can't fucking wait for that. But the fact that I'm even filming and talking for now 25 minutes straight, it's probably a good sign I'm starting to feel better because there's no fucking way I was doing this a week ago. And I wanted to film this video fucking ages ago, but I just had no drive in me. None whatsoever fucking ever. Yeah, none. And that is so shit. I'd never felt so unmotivated in my fucking life. You know what? One thing I'm so fucking proud of myself for, no matter how I was feeling, no matter what was going on, no matter how much fucking pain I was in or, you know, fuck this, my neck hurts, I still got myself to the gym every single fucking week. Every single fucking week. Even when I was down, I just wanted to bawl my fucking eyes out. And it's hard because like you go to the gym and obviously there's people there that you know, the regulars, and I was like, hey, go ahead. I'm like, fucking hate my life. I just hated it. But I'm coming back and I've got goals set. This year, me and Paul have some pretty fucking cool things in the works. I have 3 athletes stepping up on stage this year, which I'm so fucking excited for. We've got Lenny Girl literally in 8 weeks, her first ever show, and I'd be nervous going up against her. She looks incredible. And we've been you know what the awesome thing is about Lenny is, and she'll say the same thing, Lenny was not the Lenny she is now when she first started with me 2.5 years ago. And to see her now, like, she's dangerous. She is dangerous. And I love that it's a client that, you know, isn't where she is now and then has just come to my team, but we worked together and I've been able to watch her grow into the athlete that she is. I've never been so excited for an athlete to step up on stage. Like, I am so pumped for her. And then we have beautiful Dana and Ella stepping into NBA, which I'm so excited, as you guys know. I love NBA. I love FMG too. I love it all. I love every bodybuilding federation, if you guys didn't know. But yeah, we've got them doing NBA season C, which is so excited. I'm so pumped for them because that's also their debuts too. But what I want to end this with is I am going to be getting back into everything that I love doing. I started the Barbie bodybuilding podcast after my prep. I was so motivated, driven. I've been planning it for ages. I was like, can't wait to get this person on and, interview this person. I was like, I'm so excited. And then I started feeling all these ways. And let me tell you, with everything I was feeling, it was getting in my head. I was like, I'm not even worthy of interviewing these people. I lost my confidence to even message some of these athletes that I admire to ask to interview them to come to my podcast. I didn't feel worthy, just everything I was experiencing. Like I said, my identity had been shook. And, I haven't filmed a podcast episode with anyone in a month. I feel a bit shit. It's almost like, when you haven't been to, I haven't experienced this, but you haven't been to the gym for a while, so you maybe get gym anxiety and then you're like, oh, what's the point? I fucked up. I can't start now. Fuck that. I'm owning my shit right now, and I'm going to, this week, message a bunch of guests that I would really love to have on my podcast. And you know what one of my biggest fears is? Rejection. Ever since I was a kid, I fear rejection. I just, even though it's okay, it's the worst thing someone can say no. I fear rejection. I hate being rejected. I don't like it. And that was one of my biggest things is oh my God, what if they say no? What if I'm not worthy enough of having this amazing pro come on my bodybuilding podcast? What the fuck? Just do it. And that's what I'm telling myself. So yeah, I've got some girls that I would really love to have that I feel like would add a lot of value to my audience. So that's my plan this week. I'm turning my office into an actual podcast studio. So I'm in the works of getting all that set up and getting proper microphones so it's nice and clear and crisp, because as you guys know, if I do anything, I want to do it to the best of my ability. So it has started off a bit rough and, we've just been kind of using these microphones and stuff, but yeah, I want this podcast to blow up. I want this to be the podcast that every bikini prep girl listens to on their walks, because they just love this sport and they just want to know everything they can about bodybuilding. And I want to deliver that. And like I said, the biggest core value of this podcast is to show the real raw insights of the sport, the stuff that people don't talk about, the stuff that, doesn't get shown about. And that just comes down to my values. For example, already in the last few months, I've been on phones with girls I really want to do a bodybuilding show, will you prep me? I want to do this show. Only maybe giving me saying, yeah, I want to jump on stage in 15 weeks. And I'm like, have you ever done a build? Oh no. Okay. But I get girls coming to me asking to do a bodybuilding prep. And I could easily say, yeah, give me your money. I'll chuck you up on stage, no worries. No, it doesn't fucking align with my values. Instead, what I do, because I like people knowing what they're in for. Because at the end of the day, I love this sport and it has so many beautiful pros to it in type of mentality that it takes, the things it teaches you, the resilience and, persevering, and I fucking love it. But at the end of the day, this sport is very fucking unhealthy. I mean, look at me, 7 months, no period. It's very fucking unhealthy. And my philosophy with it has always been to do it in the healthiest way possible. At the end of the day, for the period of time, it's not healthy being that lean. It's just fucking not. But I also like to ensure that if I'm putting someone up on stage under me, they know exactly what they're going to experience. That, do you know that you can lose your period? Do you know that there are the potential of developing a poor relationship with your body? The eating does become quite disordered. Are you in a good place within your life to do this right now? Do you know how expensive it is? Ask all these hard fucking questions, because at the end of the day, if you don't and you're going blindsided, there's a lot of shit that's gonna come sweeping from under the rug. I had one lady and she's like, oh, I just want to feel good in a bikini. I'm like, don't do a bodybuilding show. And I said to her, I was like, you need to gain the weight back after show. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, you don't stay like that. You need to gain the weight back. And you may lose your period too. And this is what also, people don't know these things. And I'm shocked. For me, it just like, it seems like common knowledge, right? But people don't realize like this is what can happen being in a contest prep. And I deter them away and they don't want to do a show. I'd rather people go in knowing exactly what's ahead of them than go in blindsided. And if that means they don't get a client on stage, so fucking be it. And that's probably why I'm only going to have minimum clients on stage each year, because I care too much. It's as simple as that. I care too much. I'm rambling on now. This has gone for 30 minutes. I was going to try and keep it short at 20, but we know with how much I like to ramble, that's probably not feasible. Is that the right word? We know I'm not good with putting words together either. It's good to be back talking to you guys, you gals. If you watch this, it would mean a lot to me. And if you message me and let me know if you watched it, can't even put words together. If I tried to film this a month ago, you guarantee I would not have been able to put sentences together, and I probably would have got frustrated myself and started crying. But yeah, if you do watch this, it would mean a lot to me. If you're someone that has been experiencing the same thing, if you're someone that's come out of comp prep and you've been feeling a certain way, go get your fucking bloods done. I mean, I always say anyway, after comp, like always get your bloods done around, 8 weeks out or so, especially if you're not feeling like get your fucking bloods done. Check. Because there may be something that you're fucking deficient in, like fucking iron, and you just don't know. These things happen. Okay, cool. I'm making you guys hold me accountable. More podcast episodes are to come. I'm going to be asking people to come on. They say no, that's okay, but I'm sure they'll want to come. I'm a pretty fun person to talk to. That is all, guys. Talk soon.